What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So today, we're going to talk about the prep. So I made a video on my prep a while ago, kind of what got me started, but I'm just going to kind of go over it briefly again, just in case this is the first time you're seeing this video. And we're going to go over some of the upgrades because, tax season is upon us. Everybody's getting a little bit of money. And I decided to take a good chunk of my tax money and upgrade the prep. So I did. So obviously, when COVID happened, that was my wake-up call. Like, oh crap, this can happen here kind of moment. I was in the city, living in an apartment with someone else because I couldn't afford to live alone. I had nothing. I owned nothing. I had a bed, a crappy computer that barely worked, my clothes, and a couple of tools that I was starting to acquire back then. Milwaukee tools, and I started a YouTube channel at the same time, and I made YouTube videos about bowling and Milwaukee tools and batteries and stuff like that. But then it slowly evolved into like what I wanted it to evolve into, which is it's just basically me. It's everything that I'm into, not into, everything that I'm trying to learn or learning, and just sharing knowledge, you know what I mean? Because knowledge is power at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if you just learned it. If you can share it with somebody else, it's still good information, you know what I mean? And I'm a quick learner. I catch on pretty quick most of the times. But when COVID happened, man, I was stuck. I felt like I threw my 20s out the window. I did. I'm ashamed of myself, but I really did. I threw my 20s out the window, screwed off, made poor decisions, and it got me nowhere. And then I decided, when COVID happened, I'm like, we have all this free time. I mean, we were sitting at home for weeks and weeks. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn money. I'm going to learn the economy. I'm going to learn anything that has to do with that. I want to understand money, investments, the tax code. I want to understand what the rich people know so that I can get ahead. Because I want to prep, but prepping takes money. And I want to get out of the city. But that's also going to take money. So everything that I want to do, the underlying thing is I need money. Okay, so how can we do this? So my job was, decent at the time. And I still have the same job, son of a gun. I've had the same job for like 8 or 9 years now. So my job has not changed. But my life has dramatically. Just based off of making wise decisions, working hard, and putting my money in the right places at the right times. Which is sometimes easier said than done, and maybe I got lucky on the timing. And great, whatever. It helped me get to where I am now, and now I can just keep trying to push forward. But when we were getting all of that money thrown at us, that stimmy money, I remember telling the kids and my boss at work, I said, don't spend that money. You're going to need it on the back end because things are going to get bad. So I said, I'm putting my money in the stock market because it's blowing up. And I remember specifically, they called me a conspiracy theorist to my face. And my boss. You don't know that. And I said, okay, I'm just sharing what I'm doing. And I remember that specifically, there's this one kid at work who's still working with me today. He hated me. He hated me because of all of the stuff on the news and the media. They really did a good job of dividing people, right? But then he saw from the time COVID happened until 4 years later, he's like, holy shit, dude. You moved forward fast. Like, how did you do that? Did you just get like huge raises or something? And I said, no, I didn't. You know the boss. He's cheap. You think I got a bunch of raises? And now he used to go and do research to come to work with ammo, political ammo, But it backfired on him because every time he went and did his own research, he came back and he's like, dude, they had me, man. They had me so angry. They had me so worked up. And it's all a lie. And I was like, dude, that's what I was trying to tell you, man. But you guys kept calling me a conspiracy theorist and all these hurtful names, which I don't really care. Because if we look at past conspiracy theories thus far, they have a pretty good track record. So if you're calling me a conspiracy theorist, that means I'm smarter than you. And I'm fine with that. But, yeah, I put my money into the stock market, essentially more than tripled everything they gave me. And that was kind of part of the stuff that I was learning. If I want to buy a house, I'm going to need, some leverage. I'm going to need money. There's many aspects that can help you. So I said, okay, I'll put that money in the stock market. Boom, it blew up. Then I pulled it out in 2 different tax years so I didn't have to pay any tax. Stuck it in a retirement account. Boom, now I have this big chunk of change in the retirement account that can grow. And now I have some leverage that I can use to buy a house. And it's still sitting there. I haven't touched a dime. But the other kids, they went and spent it on PlayStations and cars. And guess what? They don't have those PlayStations and cars anymore. They had to sell them. Son of a gun. And just the other day, my boss comes to work and he goes, I don't know what's happening because work's getting slow. He's like, I don't know what's happening, but like something's going on out there. But like, we need to strap up. Like, I need you guys to work harder because there's no work and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, you have no idea what's going on? I'm like, come on, it's not that hard. The money printing, remember I told you this a long time ago. The money printing is going to come due. They're going to shrink the economy. They're going to tighten. And on top of that, the border's wide open. So we've got tight economy and millions of people pouring in. Where do you think a lot of them are going to go? Construction. So you're seeing, you understand why you're being underbid and undercut? Hello? And he's like, oh, I don't. And I could see him thinking about it. And he's like, I don't want to hear your conspiracy theories. And then I think I must have triggered something because like 2 weeks later he comes into work and he's like, you know what, guys? I think we're really going to need Trump to build that wall after all, huh? I'm like, look who's finally starting to wake up. Son of a gun! But yeah, my house is the first part of my prep. Getting out of the city. So I did whatever it was necessary. Whatever was necessary to get into this house. I took a bunch of pretty hardcore risks. I risked my labor. I risked a lot of things to get into this house. And I did it by the skin of my teeth. The skin of my teeth. Like one more day, one more thing that could have happened, and this whole deal would have come collapsing down and I would not be in this house. But literally by the skin of my teeth, but I was not willing to give up. But I got the house. That was the first part of my prep. Now I'm way outside of the city. I have a much longer ride to work, but I don't care because I feel like the cities, yeah, they're big financial hubs of economic and financial activity. The money kind of bleeds out into the suburbs from there. But that's also where the festering disease is going to start. The mind virus clearly is strong in the cities. So they'll be the first idiots to fall for all of it. And yeah, it's going to fester in the cities. And then it'll start to collapse. And then it'll bleed out into the suburbs. So I'm hoping that only 1 or 2 cities needs to fall before enough people go, oh, wait a second, we didn't vote for this. Of course not. But you... Hello? And hopefully we can stop it before it gets, too far into the suburbs. That's my hope. And somehow, I don't know how, but you look at all these cities out there, like New York, and like Baltimore, and you look at Philly, huge, like Democrat cities, like it's completely falling apart. But somehow Boston has remained and has somehow been able to keep their heads above water. I don't know how, but Boston just seems to... There must be enough of us here. Just saying, there must be enough of us. I know for me, my family's been in Massachusetts for a long, long time. The town of Stoughton, Massachusetts is named after my great relatives. So, yeah, we've been here a while. And I don't want to tuck tail and run to a red state. I'm standing right here, and I'm going to stand my ground. So, beyond the house, I mean, the house was the first part, right? If you're going to prep, don't do it in the city. So I got the hell out of the city. But the first part, other than that, is the financial side. So you can prep for many different things, and there's many different things that can happen. So you just want to have as many of your bases covered as possible, not have all your eggs in one basket, and don't keep all the baskets under one roof. But the first part of my prep is the financial side of the prep. So I don't want to have everything in US dollars. So obviously Bitcoin, Dogecoin, yes, I own some Bitcoin, Dogecoin. But I do not trust in the cryptos. I do not. I am a short-term investor in the cryptos, not a long-term. I do not trust them. I find the timing all too convenient. I'd love to believe that Satoshi Nakamoto, I find it hard to believe that the US government doesn't know who he is through tax documents or whatever. I just find it hard to believe. But I would love to believe that this guy was like, I'm going to save the world with this new currency. Somehow I doubt it. But we will see. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about the information that you see, and then you make decisions based off of what you see. And if Bitcoin's going to explode, then I'll try to ride the wave, but I'm not looking to be in there too long. That's all I'm saying. But this... yeah, this is part of my my prep is silver. You know, with the tax money, I got myself to a goal of 300 ounces. I'd show you, but I don't have much of it here. I have a little, but the rest of it is somewhere else. Safe, and a nice safe place. Don't keep all your baskets under the same roof. But this is money. It always has been since the dawn of time. Zero counterparty risk. And it's a useful metal. You hold it, you own it. I like it. I feel like it is the biggest undervalued asset on the planet. I really do. So, if the price continues to go down, I'm going to keep buying it, just saying. I don't care. I know what this stuff is worth, and I'm going to keep stacking it. That's something I don't want to ever sell. Like silver, I don't ever want to get rid of that. So, beyond that, yes, copper can be a prepper item. Scrap metal. Because when you buy silver or Bitcoin, there's a premium you pay, so you start out in the red. So if you need the money, well, you're going to take a loss. So it's best to buy that stuff for long term. But this, a lot of us working class folks get it for free. So, yeah, I hear the argument. Some people will say, well, I'll just cash in the copper and get silver or Bitcoin. I'll never argue that. That's a great idea. But I already have silver. I already have Bitcoin. And I want this. You know, it's just something else that I have that's not in US dollars, because dollars seem like they go down, this go up. And this is a insulation layer between me and my silver and Bitcoin. Right? Oops, I need the money. Here it is. I didn't pay for it, so I won't feel guilty about cashing it in. Yeah, there was an expense to melt it down, but like I say, I've mentioned this before. If you have the space, don't melt it down. Just put it in bins. But I don't have the space, so I have to melt it down. So I use the brass, aluminum, lead. I take that money, cash it in. That'll pay for the gas I need to melt down the copper, and I still put money in my pocket. So it works out in my mind. And then I just save that for later. And the next part of the financial prep is a little bit of a moonshot, but again, it's like I'm putting money into just something else, just not US dollars. This is considered a conspiracy theory or a scam. You could argue that a lot of those cryptos are scams. So, to each their own. But the Iraqi dinar. And honestly, based off past conspiracy theory results, I'm putting my money on the conspiracy theory. Especially, there's a lot of upside. A lot of upside with the dinar. I feel like there's more upside than there is downside. So, and it's one of those things I can't get really into the politics because the video will get taken down. But, you know, Iraq had a strong economy, and for good reason. And one Iraqi dinar was worth $3 in the past. So it's already been there. It's not something that hasn't happened. And could never happen, because it did. It was there. And then war happened, right? Their currency crashed to nothing. And the United States went over there and said, here, you're going to transact with these things now. And that's the way it was. The United States government weaponized our money against other countries. And I think other countries are getting tired of it. So Iraq said, no more. No more war. And we're making it illegal to transact in dollars now. So no more dollars. So they're pushing these away. And they're going back to their own currency. And they've actively been talking about revaluing it. Son of a gun. And I find it weird because some of their older bills, right, this is slightly older. You know, it's got security features on it. About on par with like a hundo from the United States, right? Yeah. It's got a security stripe and some watermarks. A couple other things. Yeah, it's pretty good. But then all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, boom, like, whoa, what's going on there? They really upgraded the security features. Like, I'm talking really upgraded security features with, like, blacklight sensitive things and, oh, bigger security stripes and clear window here and holograms and all kinds of stuff on this. I mean, the $50,000 Iraqi bill puts the United States bills to shame with security features. I mean, these things are loaded. It even has this little, like, lizard skin textured piece on the back. Like, what? I mean, it would seem to me, if they were planning on their currency to be completely worthless, why would they go through all the trouble of really upping their game on security features? And how come all of a sudden I've started to notice much lower denomination bills come out, like 500 and 250 dinar versus 50,000, 25,000. So yeah, this is one of those things where just the more research I did, the more I bought. But you do pay a premium on these as well, right? Because if I was to convert these back to US dollars today, it would be roughly $900 US. What did I pay? Probably $1,400. That's what I paid into it. So I'm down, of course, but I do think the upside is pretty substantial because I've accumulated 1,075,000 Iraqi dinars. I mean, you do the math. If they revalue at even 75 cents to $1 US, you do the math. If it's 1 to 1, do the math. If it's 1.3 or 2 to 1, do the math. It's a big sum of money. For a $1,400 investment, I feel like, could be worth it. You know, it might be a conspiracy theory. Who knows? And then obviously I've been following the banking sector. Trying to keep my eye on that. You know, we've had banks collapsing and stuff like that, and I don't think that we're in any real danger anytime soon. I feel like if the Democrats, I feel like they're on thin ice right now. So they really need to make sure that stuff stays afloat for a little while longer. But, you know, it doesn't hurt. I mean, this looks like a lot of money. It's really not. I mean, this was a lot of money to me in 4 years ago. You know, $1,800. But, yeah, it's mostly just 20s. You know, it doesn't hurt to have some of your money not in the bank. I mean, most of my money's in the bank, but it doesn't hurt to have a little bit in cash on you. You know what I mean? So the next part of my prep is a little outside the box. Painkillers. Kratom. It's legal to buy. You know, it's completely legal to buy right now. I don't think it will be legal forever. That's why I figured I'm going to grab some. I'm going to hold on to some. I'm not going to go crazy. You know, I got a kilo bag plus a bunch of these bottles. They're all sealed. You know, from my understanding, in low doses it acts like a stimulant. In high doses it acts like a painkiller, which could be useful if you're in pain. Because they attach the same opioid receptors in your brain as, say, stuff like this. Icy oxycodone, icy hydrocodone. They used to prescribe these like crazy back in the day. I got them prescribed to me. These expired in 2004. And I've just held on to them. Because you can't get them anymore. I try not to take them unless it's absolutely necessary, but when it's absolutely necessary, God, there is no replacement, man, I'm telling you. I had a... Yeah, they say they expire. I don't believe it. Because I took 2 of these 2 years ago when I got dry socket, when I had a tooth pulled. And the doctor kept giving me Tylenol, ibuprofen. Did nothing. I couldn't sleep. It was like 3 days, no sleep, and going to work, and I broke. Then she finally said, okay, you probably have dry socket. You need to come in. And then I remembered I was in so much pain that I was so, like, disoriented. Like, I forgot I had these. I took 2 of them, and it was like, bang! I could sleep. Oh, relief, you know? And I was able to get to the doctors and fixed it up. You know, the dentist put the packing and sewed it up, and it was just like, oh, glad I had these. You know, they might, in certain circumstances, might be a good tradable item. You know, that would be illegal. But in that scenario, I don't think laws would matter. But not only good for a tradable item, but just for yourself. Because you never know. If you're in serious pain and you can't get stuff like this anymore, this could be a second close best option. You know what I mean? That's natural versus pharmaceutical. Just saying. Might not hurt to have some of it. And this part of the prep I kind of already went over. You know, bulletproof vest, guns, ammo. Do I think I'll ever need this? God, no. Hell no. But does it help me sleep at night? Yes, it does. So, in my mind, being able to sleep at night makes this 100% worth it. It is pretty heavy and sweaty, though. But, yeah, I was working on guns for a while. You know, I have my P320, my 320 Legion. I have a 22 revolver right there, which, you know, that's to introduce people that are new to guns. They think they're big and scary, and then they shoot that thing, and they go, oh, that's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. We've got the 308, the Beast. This is a nice gun, man. She's got some power. I wanted something with absolute power. Then, of course, had to have the combat folding stock shotgun. You know, this is not the best quality shotgun, but it's a nice shotgun nonetheless. Nice little light on the end. I actually need to pull these out soon and make sure that the batteries are in good standings. And then the Tavor X95, the newest edition. It's a more concealable version of an AR-15, but I can't have an AR-15. But I can have this legally in my state. Whatever. I don't care. I'll take the Tavor. It's a nice little 5.56 gun. I believe they do make another version in 308, but I already had a 308. I wanted something a little more versatile. You know, the 5.56, I feel like it's a versatile small little round that moves extremely fast. And then obviously I worked on ammo for a while. I was making some videos on that. It's one of those things, some people say I have enough, and some people say, oh God, that's all you have? I have 10,000 rounds. And yeah, I've only been doing this for 4 years. So, I've been jumping around, back and forth. This is where I've gotten to, and maybe in the future I'll go more, but for now, I got myself to 1,000 rounds of 5.56, all green tips, because that's all I could find. Clear over 1,000 rounds of 9mm. Also hollow points for my everyday carry. Custom SIG P365. This one is always on me. I sleep with it, I bring it to work, I go to Home Depot, Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner. It doesn't matter, that thing's always on me and nobody knows it. But yeah, clear over 1,000 rounds of 9mm, probably 400 rounds of 22, and then the 308. I've got a bunch. I'm not anywhere close to 1,000. Those are quite expensive, and shotgun shells the same thing. They are. Yeah, it's gonna take a little while to get to 1,000 rounds of shotgun shells and the 308. But beyond that, I wanted to have at least minimum 5 magazines per magazine type gun that I have. Some guns I've gone past, I've got 8 magazines, and some of them I only have 5. But 5 was a minimum. I wanted them all in there, loaded, ready to go. The magazines. You know what I mean? Ready to dance. I feel like I have, I don't know, I have enough to hold down the fort for a little while anyway. And it's a good deterrent. That's a crazy guy that's got all the guns. Don't go over there. You know what I mean? It's like putting a lock on your shed. That's the best thing I think you can compare a gun to. It's like putting a big beefy lock on your shed. Right? The criminal comes past, they look at the shed and they go, oh, I don't know about that one. Maybe we'll go to the neighbor's house. So basically it just keeps honest people honest at the end of the day. Yeah, we're not gonna do that because he's got a gun. Great. Go do that somewhere else, please. Thank you. So the next part of the prep that I started working on is food and water. Not only for me, but for the Dukester here. Because he is under my care after all. So, you know, I started stockpiling his foods, his treats. Got giant bags of cat food, litter. I've got enough, you know. And then worst case scenario, you know, I have to make him into a little pork fried rice dish for myself. I could never do that. He's a good kitty. I could never do that. But I started buying like big bags of rice and cans of beans and tuna, which tuna will outlast cans of beans somehow. Didn't know that. You know, protein powder, and I try to keep the freezer stocked, but it's like I dip into it and it's tough, you know what I mean? So I wanted something that I didn't have to worry about expiration dates, something I could just get once and just forget about it. So I looked into emergency food supplies. And I found these because obviously you get bombarded with ads on YouTube, and they're like $250 for a 4-week supply, and it's like, oh, dude, that's crazy expensive. But I found these on Amazon, August Farms, 99 bucks. Then I got this one for 125, which comes with a lot more food for the extra 25 bucks. So I figure I'm going to continue to buy these ones now from now on. But I'd like to stack up like 6 months to a year eventually. I got an open seed vault. You know, my neighbor is a old war vet. He's got silver guns. He's got a huge garden in his backyard. He tills his own soil. I mean, he knows what's up, and he's down for the cause. So anything ever got too bad, I know he would let me go over there and plant, because he's cool like that, you know. And then beyond that, I've been stacking cases of water, because why not? Because I'd prefer cases of water over having to go to the lake. But I figured this was pretty cheap. Again, something I think I'll probably never need to use, but it's nice to have. You know, I got my Brita filter in the fridge, but I wanted something a little bit more substantial so that I can go to the lake and get 5-gallon buckets of water, or fill up this bag. Then I got a bunch of these filters that will filter 100,000 gallons of water per filter. I got a bunch of those, so I have a way to filter water if I needed to. Again, do I think I'll ever use this? No, I don't. I hope we never get there. But if we do, I have it. I can sleep at night. I can potentially help other people. That's the goal. So I'm going to continue to stockpile waters. I was buying these when I was kind of remodeling my bathroom. I didn't have much money to put towards the prep, so I wanted to feel like I was doing something, at least every once in a while, put something aside. So yeah, I get like one of these here, one of these there. But yeah, I just added this. Seed farm. Stuff like that, you know? So the last part of the prep, obviously, is, you know, having power needs met. And beefing up security. So I have an old house, so there's an advantage to an old house because they were built differently, right? So I have big, heavy, thick wood MDF doors. I've checked all the screws to make sure they're not short screws, but long screws into the framing, deadbolts. I've got cameras all over the place, LED sensing lights in the back and the front. Cameras in rooms that there should be no activity when I'm not home. So if something flinches in a room that I don't want any activity in when I'm not home, my phone will light up. Give me a screenshot, it'll give me a live feed, it'll just blow up. Plus I have community, right? I have tenants, same page, neighbors, same page. Good to build some community around you. It doesn't hurt. Plus, security system, right? ADT. I got an ADT sign right out in the front of my house. I am working on solar. I have a solar company actively working on building out this system for me. I told them I don't care whether they own the panels, I own the panels. I want battery backup. If the grid goes down, I want power. Capiche? And he says, no problem. We're going to work on that. So that's being actively worked on. Plus, I ordered an EMP device for my work truck because I figured, what good is the prep if I can't get home because I work in the city still? If there was a solar flare or EMP and happened in the city, my truck would be dead and I couldn't get home. So I ordered a device from EMPshield.com. Not a sponsored video. I wish it was, but it's not. They sent me the wrong device. I had to play angry customer, call them back, and they have awesome customer service. Awesome customer service. Never got a robot. I got a human right away. And yeah, they said, how about this? We'll knock $100 off the car model for you and we'll send it out. I'm like, great. Let's get it done. You know, spent a little bit more than I wanted to, but now I have the car model on the way. I'm going to install it in my car. And I already made a video on the house model. Basically, I installed it down in my sub panel in the basement. Now everything in my house that is plugged into the wall socket is protected from either an EMP, solar flare going off over my house, or downline or upline. It doesn't matter. I'm protected. All the smaller stuff is in Faraday bags, laptops, spare hard drives, Bitcoin wallets, tablets. All of that stuff is in Faraday bags when I'm not using it. And yeah, this is just how far I've gotten in 4 years. So yeah, prepping to me, like, I don't think I ever really want to get to the point where I'm, building a bunker in my backyard. I really don't. Like, honestly, if that's where we're going, I hope the nuke lands right on my house. But, I do want to lean and push more towards self-reliance. But it's very difficult for us working class folks to just, boom, have all your bases covered and be self-reliant tomorrow. This is something that takes years and years and years to build up. And I feel like the system is kind of designed to hold you back from getting there too quickly. And honestly, like, you look at, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg there. Isn't he like a full-fledged, like, left-leaning Democrat? The ones that are like, everything's going to be fine. You have nothing to worry about. You're a conspiracy theorist. But yet he's building a $300 million bunker. Bill Gates is buying up farmland like no tomorrow because he foresees a massive food shortage in the future. So it's like, it's one of those things where, what I have, like, it's not all a good long-term solution, but for now it's peace of mind, and it buys me time. It buys me time to figure something else out. You know what I mean? So yes, these long-term food storage things, that's a good short-term solution. And obviously I'd love to have, like, maybe a garden and some chickens and stuff like that in my backyard at some point. But that's going to take a lot of time to get there. I'm working on solar. I got out of the city. I've only been doing this for 4 years, trying not to let it consume my life, but at the same time, I'm trying to buy things that are worth their weight in gold. Stuff that I need, that I'll use. It's not a waste of money. It's not a waste of time. And I think we all hope and pray that nothing will ever happen. Like, everything's going to be fine. I think we all want that. Honestly, I think we all want nothing to happen. And everything's going to be just fine. But honestly, I see that there's not enough people on the same page. We have them outnumbered big time. Big time. But if we're not on all the same page, it's never going to work. And things are going to gradually keep getting worse. And it seems very odd when they start suppressing people's videos and speech, I would say all in the attempt to keep people from getting on the same page. If they can keep everybody like that, it would be very easy. It would be much easier for them to follow through whatever their plan is. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, man. I having some of my bases covered buys me some time, gives me peace of mind now, and I'm going to keep working at this day in and day out. You know what I mean? Working hard, making wise decisions, putting my money where I think is best, based off of my research, and leaning towards more self-reliant lifestyle, if at all possible. But and we will see what happens, and build community. You know what I mean? I think that's important. To know other like-minded people like yourself. And there's a lot of us out there. Don't let them fool you. There is a lot of us out there, especially now. It's a growing movement. This preparedness movement is definitely There's some people that have been doing this for 20 years. There's a lot of people that are way, way, way ahead of me. And there's people that are way behind me that haven't even started or just started or they're thinking about getting started. You might be one of them. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what does it hurt? What does it hurt to have a little extra food and water for your family? Make sure things are secure, and just kind of have some of your bases covered. That's all. And if nothing happens, nothing happens. Great. You have extra food. You have extra water. You're producing your own power. You have a garden. Why does that make you a conspiracy theorist? I don't know. Can't figure it out. But anyways, guys, see you later.